Hello, it's Alex Giannis here. I apologize for the background noise, aka the rain. The thing I'm using right now, it's only allowing me to do 5 minutes of recording time, so I hope that don't bother you all too much, hopefully. But I will try and put all of the parts into one video, but it'll have me doing the intros every single time, so I'm very sorry about that. So, without further ado, let's get on with the video. You were doing the classwork that your teacher, Mr. Aizawa, had assigned you, when you hear that he will be giving back your test from last week, that you had forgotten about. You start getting very anxious about what your score you would get, since you didn't want your parents to be upset with your grade. At that moment, Mr. Aizawa put your test on your desk, then went back to the front of the classroom. As he spoke to the class, your grade on this test is only worth 10% of your final grade, but keep in mind the next test will be worth 70% of your final grade. The rest of the class nodded, and as you sighed in relief that since your test score was at 20%, you see a boy with half red, half white hair that starts walking towards your desk. He looks at you with the test in his hand and then asks you, "What score did you get, listener?" You showed him your test, ashamed of your score. He shows you his test, which is 100. Then he asks you, if you want, can we study in my dorm tonight? You nodded your head yes, as you thought to yourself, I wonder why he didn't ask one of his friends. Before Todoroki walked away, he had told you that his name was Shoto Todoroki. You smiled at him, telling him that you'll see him later. Time skip. You and Todoroki were walking to the dorms together, chatting about how the study session would and should go, and then something unexpected happened. Todoroki had reached for your hand, although it was very nervously. You giggled and you held his hand, seeing his face get even redder. You asked him if you wanted to get some snacks from your dorm before you guys started your study session. He nodded and said, you go get the snacks from your dorm, and we'll just meet up later. While you were getting the snacks out of your dorm, Todoroki was cleaning up his room a bit. By cleaning up his room a bit, he was actually removing all the All Might posters and figurines and moving them into his closet so that you wouldn't know he was a diehard fan. Once you were done deciding what snacks to bring up to Todoroki's dorm, you went up to Todoroki's dorm. You knocked on his dorm door while you just waited there patiently for him to open up. You heard him shuffling as he yelled through the door, "Just a moment!" Todoroki opened the door. You can come in now, listener. You walked into his room. It looked pretty plain and boring, since, all the All Might figurines and posters weren't in there now. You sit down at his desk, and he sat next to you. He asked you what you had a problem with, as you replied with the usual response, everything. He sighed and got his notebooks out of his bag and told you to do the same. You grabbed your notebooks from your bag, laying them out on the desk. You looked at Todoroki's notes, and you realized they were in a much neater fashion. So you thought to yourself, how can somebody be so organized? He interrupted you mid-thought by tapping on your shoulder and asking you, hey, are you all right? You keep spacing out on me. Okay, that's the end for this video. I hope you don't mind. I will be doing a part 2 in my next post, which will also be today. But if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Thank you. Have a nice day.